Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a world that seems so robust, yet hides surprising fragility. Glass artwork conservation.
That's right.
Our mission really is to unpack the nature of glass, figure out why it's vulnerable, and then explore, the methods experts use to protect these amazing pieces.
It's fascinating stuff.
You might think glass is just
Really?
glass, right? But there's a whole complex story under the surface.
Absolutely. I mean, at its core, glass is quite unique. It's an amorphous solid.
Amorphous, meaning
Basically no crystal structure. Think of it like a liquid that's cooled down so fast it never got the chance to, crystallize properly.
Okay.
It's primarily made from silica, sand. But melting sand, that takes incredibly high heat.
Right. Impractical for early makers, I imagine.
Exactly. So historically, they'd add things called fluxes, like soda or potash. These are sort of the secret ingredients that dramatically lower the melting point, makes the glass workable.
Got it. So fluxes help shape it.
Yeah.
But what gives it strength? Makes it last.
Well, that's where stabilizers come in. Usually lime calcium oxide, that was crucial. It boosted strength and, importantly, helped stop it dissolving in water.
Dissolving? Wow.
Yeah, well, not quite dissolving like sugar, but without enough stabilizer, you're setting up problems for later. And these ingredients, they define the type of glass.
Like what kinds?
Well, the most common is soda lime glass, silica sodium lime. That's in everything from ancient vials to window panes.
Okay.
Then you have things like lead crystal. It swaps lime for lead oxides. That gives it that sparkle, makes it heavy, easier to cut.
Oh, right, the fancy stuff.
Exactly. But ironically, it's softer, much easier to scratch. Different recipes, different properties.
And the colors, where do they come from?
Usually impurities or tiny additions. Iron, copper, manganese, cobalt, they all create different colors.
Fascinating. And you mentioned cooling earlier.
Yeah.
Annealing, that's key too.
Oh, absolutely critical. Glass gets shaped when it's hot, semi-molten, but its final strength, its stability, depends entirely on how carefully and slowly it's cooled. That's annealing.
What does it actually do?
It lets the internal stresses within the glass relax, sort of even out. Without proper annealing, it's brittle, prone to shattering from just a small knock or temperature change.
Right, makes sense. So we know how it's made. But what makes these seemingly timeless objects start to deteriorate?
Well, the most obvious danger is just physical force. It's brittle material.
Yeah.
So breaks, chips, scratches, that's always a risk.
Sure, the obvious stuff.
But the really sneaky problem is chemical instability, sometimes called glass disease or
Unlens disease, that sounds ominous.
It kind of is. It's when the glass essentially starts dissolving itself from the inside out. A slow chemical self-destruction.
How on earth does that happen?
It goes back to the recipe.
Yeah.
If there wasn't enough stabilizer, like lime, added way back when it was made, you get excess alkali, like sodium, left in the glass structure. This alkali is hygroscopic. It loves water. It literally pulls moisture out of the air. This forms a corrosive alkaline solution right on the glass surface, which then attacks and starts dissolving the silicon network itself.
Wow, what does that look like?
You might see a sort of foggy or hazy appearance first. It can feel slippery or soapy to the touch. Or you might see tiny damp droplets. That's called weeping.
Weeping glass.
Yeah. And if it keeps going untreated, it leads to this network of fine cracks. The glass becomes opaque. That's crizzling. And often that damage is irreversible.
Goodness. So that's the internal threat. What about external factors? Water, pollution, light.
Water's a big one, especially for archaeological glass dug up from wet sites. It can leach out the alkalis over centuries, leaving these beautiful but incredibly fragile iridescent layers. Looks almost like an onion skin.
I think I've seen pictures of that.
Yeah, it's striking but delicate. And pollutants, simple dust and dirt, aren't just unsightly, they're also hygroscopic.
Like the alkalis?
Exactly. They act like tiny sponges, drawing moisture to the surface, which just makes any existing chemical instability worse. And light. Some types of glass can actually change color over time with lots of UV exposure. It's called solarization. Manganese can turn purple, for example.
So many vulnerabilities. What about humidity? Is there an ideal level?
It really depends. For stable, healthy glass, keeping the relative humidity or RH around 40–50% is generally good, along with stable temperatures, of course.
But for the unstable stuff, the weeping glass.
Ah, that's where it gets really tricky. That glass is incredibly sensitive. If the RH goes above about 42%, those alkalis start absorbing moisture and weeping. But if it drops too low, say below 30%, severely deteriorated glass can actually dry out too much and develop irreversible cracks.
So it's very narrow tightrope.
Extremely narrow.
Huh.
And fluctuations, big swings in humidity are bad for all glass, but especially the unstable pieces. Consistency is key.
Okay, so given all this, fragility, really, prevention must be the name of the game.
Absolutely. Preventive conservation is paramount. It starts with just incredibly careful handling.
Thus.
Always support the object properly, right under its center of gravity. Use clean hands, or for unstable glass, nitrile gloves are a must. Skin oils can actually cause damage over time. And never, ever lift fragile objects by handles or spouts or rims.
Common sense, but easy to forget. What about storage?
Storage needs padding. Padded boxes, shelves. Closed display cases are great. They protect from physical bumps and keep out dust. And definitely don't stack glass objects.
Right.
Tall things or unstable shapes might need custom-made mounts to keep them secure.
And controlling that tricky environment,
Yeah.
especially humidity for unstable glass.
That's where environmental control is crucial. For the really unstable pieces, we often create microclimates. Think of a well-sealed display case or storage box containing special silica gel.
Silica gel, like in shoe boxes.
Sort of, but it's conditioned silica gel designed to maintain humidity within that very specific narrow range below 42% but above 30%. It buffers against external changes. And avoiding direct sunlight, heat sources, even lights inside display cases is vital.
Okay, microclimates. What if something actually needs cleaning or, dare I say, repair?
Cleaning always starts gentle. Dry methods for soft brushes, maybe gentle air puffer. If wet cleaning is absolutely necessary, it's usually with deionized water, maybe a tiny amount of a special mild non-ionic surfactant that won't leave residue.
But not on weeping glass.
Crucially, no. Severely deteriorated or weeping glass needs its environment stabilized first. Getting it wet before controlling the RH can cause massive damage.
And repairs. Broken pieces.
Repair and restoration follows strict ethical guidelines. The key principle is reversibility. Whatever we do, ideally, it should be undoable later without harming the original object.
So you use special glues.
Yes, conservation-grade adhesives. Things like paraloid B72 are common for joins. For brakes needing high strength and optical clarity, maybe something like HXTL NYL1, they're chosen for stability and reversibility.
And missing bits.
Missing pieces might be filled, sometimes for structural support, sometimes just aesthetically. But again, the fill should be discernible from the original and ideally removable. It's about preserving integrity.
This deep dive really shows it, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Preserving glass isn't simple. It's this delicate balance of science and careful handling.
It truly is. Understanding its chemistry, its weaknesses.
And then being incredibly proactive and meticulous about care. From how you touch it to controlling the very air around it, that's how we safeguard this heritage.
Exactly. It's a constant process of managing its vulnerabilities.
So maybe as you look around today at the glass in your own home, a window, a drinking glass, whatever, consider how it seems so solid, so permanent.
But maybe it's subtly reacting to its world in ways we can't even see. It kind of urges us to look closer, appreciate the unseen forces, and the constant effort involved in preserving not just glass, but all the fragile objects that tell our human story.